What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this episode, we are concluding Gaia Gear, Volume 2. Last time, Krishna went on a date with Urian. Affranche went to jail, and he ran into an interesting street gang. This time, Krishna is taken prisoner. Affranche poops and touches himself, and he becomes the leader of New Metatron. So let's get into this. Spacious member Joe Surin meets with Affranche. He checks his body for any trackers left by Maha. They get into a taxi around the corner, barely going that far. They get out and meet with Miranda. This makes Affranche smile. She is the only one he trusts. Miranda tells him to strip. He says, "Excuse me?" Joe has a device that detects trackers. It seems there is a tracker in his stomach. Time to get some laxatives. Krishna knows that she is being followed during her date with Ul, but she can't prove it. The restaurant they went to is a black tie event. A piano plays to set the mood. She says that Maha must have its privilege class as well. After some casual conversation, Ul talks about the Hebrew language and how each number has a meaning. He says that God is associated with 314. An angel known as Metatron also has this number.
I am the Metatron.
Krishna thinks to herself, "Shit, he is onto me." The Z organization also associated itself with 314. They banter about how man is run by software in the colonies and the benefits of a controlless lifestyle. But Ul instantly changes focus and asks Krishna where the 314 is hiding. He's no longer beating around the bush. There's a pause before Krishna decides to pull the tablecloth off, causing all the tableware to fly in the air. She tries to make a dash for it, but Ul is able to grab her and take her captive. Miranda hands Affranche a laxative. She says this needs to be passed by tonight, and it's an enema. Good luck. What is the situation with Krishna? Joe wonders. It seems she has been abducted by Maha, and they are probably on their tail as well. Affranche wants to go after Krishna, but that isn't a smart move. Bombs go off behind them. Also, Affranche's stomach starts turning. Oh, it's coming, buddy. Affranche shuffles to the bathroom in shame. They are in a camper van. So anyways, the rest of this chapter is Tamina going into detail about Affranche's shit. Maha's plan is to exterminate 31, a base of anti-Federation movement. Ul says this looking at Krishna while being interrogated, all while in the limo. She wants to know what she is hiding. She just repeats, "I don't know" to him. Ul wants to know Affranche's relationship with Shar Aznable and about the Z organization. She thinks about jumping out. Ul calls in his Minix. Ul tells the driver to go faster. They're heading into the colony control within the mountains. Ul gives Krishna a nice punch in the solar plexus and grabs a gun. 3 motorcycles are around them with some Minix chasing after in the distance. Ul fires on them. One bike is bumped off and crashes. Another motorcycle explodes. He gets control of one Minix remotely from the limo. Behind some of the bikes is a caravan. They were the ones pursuing. Kieran Mead is coming to provide cover. Joe accelerates closer. Affranche has to take a shit, but nothing comes out. Ooh, that butt pucker. They see a Minox in the distance. Ul constantly thinks the driver of the limo is incompetent and not worthy of Maha. He throws Krishna into the Minix. One civilian Elokar goes up in flames. Affranche notes they will kill civilians. Something attacks near the caravan, causing it to fly in the air and crash. One Minix goes down as the others converge on a man machine. He realizes that this man machine isn't the Soren Soul. Joe and Miranda realize they got it working. This is Gaia Gear. That's the name of the book. The Alpha 000001 Gaia Gear Alpha is the titular man machine. It is powered by 4 ultra-compact Minovsky fusion reactors. These were even more miniaturized than those seen during the Formula Project era. This unit is designed to be the most advanced man machine. Its fire control system is capable of near infinite scaling, which means it could fire as much as it could hold. It also has a miniaturized Minovsky craft system and a Psychomu system. This can also throw Minovsky barriers, which can protect it from beam attacks. Other weapons include a needle missile pod, a beam saber, the ECM jammer, a hyper mega launcher, 2 hand beam guns, and the sand barrel anti-missile grenades. They all panic and get to safety. Affranche watches as the man machine takes out the Minix. More man machines approach, but Affranche doesn't have time to watch this. He has to take another shit. The 2 other machines are Gusas. The UM-190B1 Gusa is a mass-produced man machine used by Maha. They share many parts used by the Federation and look similar to FIDI units. The sand barrel is a remote anti-funnel grenade launcher. It also is equipped with a beam saber, a beam rifle, a shield with a beam cutter, and a mega beam launcher. It could also be equipped with a long flight drive and a Minovsky drive unit. Joe has a huge gash on his head, and Affranche's side is in agony. Kieran launches Minovsky barriers. The Minix shoots, causing the beam barrier to explode. Ol's Minix goes down. Krishna holds on. The two are safe and get out. He knows she is an anti-Fedi terrorist and tells her that they are far worse than the military. Krishna notes Ol's sinister nature. Two man-machines approach Gaia Gear. Kieran dodges a beam blast. He does a full sensor sweep. Gaia Gear outperforms the Gusas. The two try to flank, but Kieran clears the gap. He is afraid that they might use Minovsky particle weapons in a colony, which is illegal, not that it has stopped people in the past. Suddenly, a flash of light. Gaia Gear goes down on top of an urban building. Oh, those poor suckers in that building. The Gusa takes a direct hit from Kieran. The pilot's name is Jonathan Lee. This is his first real battle. Suddenly, a man is near his hatch telling him to get out or he will kill him. It is Affranche Shar. He has a rifle. The man gets up, but he goes for a pistol on his waist. He decides not to grab it. Joe and Affranche get Jonathan out of the man machine. Affranche gets in and pilots the Gusa. He tunes the radio to the spacious frequency. He tells the captain he's heading out. Affranche finds the other Gusa. On the radio, he hears that Unit 18 has been commandeered by Shar Aznable. One man tells him to get out of the machine. He thinks he is talking to Jonathan. Affranche fires at the Gusa. He hits the shield and right leg. The beam rifle seems unusable now. Affranche has to be careful in the colony. He doesn't think that he killed the enemy, but the unit goes down. And then, suddenly, diarrhea hits Affranche. Kieran in the Gaia Gear comes over and asks what he's doing. Affranche says, "I'm shitting my pants, don't look me in the eyes." They regroup with Joe in the yellow car, where Kieran and Affranche argue even more. Affranche says, "You try piloting a man machine with poop in your pants." They get into the car while Miranda gets into Gaia Gear with Kieran. Affranche stinks, so he goes into the Gusa alone. They head towards the entrance where they entered the colony. They follow a river where they find a hole. The river is transparent and you can see outside the colony from it. They head out into space. Affranche notes he doesn't have a pilot suit on, and he probably wishes he had electrolytes. There are two Minox. Kieran will cover him while he heads out in the hole. Three man machines stop him from exiting the colony. They're confused because it is an ally machine. Affranche fires one at point-blank range, so not to hit the cockpit. He exits the colony and books it. He then hears Miranda's voice. Gaia Gear approaches. Ul is talking to Simnao Aban. He hears the radio saying Unit 18 has been commandeered by Shar Aznable. Ul notes that many have adopted this name over the past to create their own revolution. The novelty of life in space has turned the name Shar Aznable into an urban legend. The Federation is no longer justice incarnate. One thing to note is that Maha is paid by the Federation, however. They don't poke the bear sometimes. Ul and the lieutenant get into an argument about utilitarianism and new types. Lieutenant Simnao and Ul tells the staff to increase the truth serum. It seems Krishna doesn't know the location of their base, but she has military training of some sort. Krishna is in what looks like an electric chair. He doesn't want to push Krishna too far, but he's willing to destroy her for intel. These people have turned torture into an art. He says, "Agree to stay with me and you're free to go." He unties Krishna, but he lingers on the ankles. Ol likes them ankles. Lieutenant Simnao warns Ol that getting close to the enemy ends with a knife in one's back. Affranche's stomach is finally settling. He takes out his dirty-ass underwear and dries them out. He doesn't want Miranda or Krishna to see him like this. He thinks of Everly and gets erect. Affranche says he has to push back this, but then he says he has to approach this head-on. He's talking about his dick, so Affranche both cries and masturbates. Alright, maybe this dude could focus now. Affranche doesn't believe in the stoic lifestyle. Yeah, dude, you got your lust gunking up all the control systems. Tamino calls it the art of emotional alchemy. Just admit you like rubbing one out. You don't have to justify it. He believes Stoics are finally in a constant state of frustration and seek gratifications in life. Control is an emotional intelligence. They are hiding from the truth for self-preservation, not able to gauge the world around them. This entire chapter should be called Affranche's Post-Nut Clarity. Affranche wished that people could be shaped by the best parts of one's past, without resorting to nostalgia. Affranche just called out half the Gundam fanbase. Unlike Ol, Affranche is unaware of the Hebrew numbers being used as code for the Spacious. They make it to a base. It is a section of a colony as though someone took a slice right out of the center. This place seems to exist in a sort of gray zone with the Federation. Affranche wonders if he will be treated as a prisoner here. They land on the base. One man skin talks to him and taxis him to the deck. He makes sure he cleans up all his shit, semen, and tears. He is finally able to open the hatch. He meets with Margaret Lane. Affranche says, "Nice to meet you, please incinerate my diarrhea." He gets out of the man machine to finally meet Captain Madras. After talking, the captain is certain that he is Shar Aznable. There was also an old man next to him, simply referred to as the Admiral. His name is Azaria Parrish. Miranda guides Affranche to his quarters. She too is only a small part of a greater whole, and she doesn't know the greater picture. But she believes the ideals of Shar Aznable. Even though he was only able to form a small dictatorship in his lifetime, they believe his words live on. Affranche rests for now. He learns that the ship they are on is called the 31 Squared. The 31 Squared is a heavy cruiser used by the Z organization. This is the fusion of many ships to form a Frankenstein. It has 2 bridges, anti-ship megaparticle cannons, a man-machine catapult, 2 hyper-mega cannons, and anti-ship missiles. The Admiral is mad at Captain Madras for bringing Affranche with them. As the two bicker, Affranche steps in. He confirms that they did do a blood test on him, and he does indeed have Char's DNA. If that is the case, he commands them to plan an operation to save Krishna. He says that these men have the facade of order, but the inability to take action. He doesn't take any of the Admiral's nonsense no more, even though he still urges him not to do this. He says, "Give me the mic, I'm about to go full Bill Pullman up in here." Affranche says, "I asked to entrust your blood, your sweat, your very lives to this mission?" Applaud erupts as he drops the mic. The last thing the Admiral says is, "Don't let your passion lead you astray." This is how Char failed. Affranche meets Kenset Baleen, Hatana Nomusozaki, Kenneth Bren, and Nias Kane. Everyone is mesmerized by him. Affranche asks about 314. He learns it means Metatron. They decide to rename their organization Metatron and the 31 Squared the Mother Metatron. As the bridge informs the ship of the name changes, Affranche heads down to the mobile suit deck. He sees 4 Dolchadis. The Dolchadi is a limited series man-machine used by Metatron due to its low production cost. This man-machine is about high maintainability and versatility. This allows it to create a recon loadout, for example. This is due to its modular backpack. Weapons depend on the loadout. Affranche still is struggling in 0G. Margaret Lane comes over and gives him a push. Joe thinks that they will be fine with a show of force to get Krishna back, but Kieran is pessimistic. Affranche gets into his pilot suit. They head towards Hellas at Side 2 and threaten to attack if they don't release Krishna. Captain Baijan Dargal of Maha begins making moves. This was bad timing as he was about to meet with the Prime Minister, who wants Maha to have more military power. Ul-Yurin gets into his pilot suit. He wants to use the Brahm Texter. This assault seems chock full of emotion. Why mobilize a warship for one girl? He grabs Krishna as he looks up at the Brahm Texter 0. And that will conclude Gaia Gear Volume 2. What a roller coaster of a light novel. Dude goes from crying to shitting himself to masturbating to becoming a leader. We will wait till next episode to break down the Brahm Texter. What Tamina was trying to drill into your head is that the societal systems in place is a false sense of reality. It's a false sense of confidence, which leads to nostalgia-driven individuals. Next volume, Metatron attacks Maha in order to save Krishna. Maha will try to do some reverse immigration. I think that's just called an invasion. And the Federation gets involved. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, try to keep your pants on during a mission. Peace.